Hello there. Good morning. So this particular video would focus on the beginning of the troubles that happened or affected the Adekunle ship and why it got to this point where it's actually hit rock bottom. We hope it picks up, but it seems like it might take a while before anything good comes out of them settling and stuff. So of course, before I get right into that, I just want to say thank you to every one of you who had, wished me well after hearing what happened to me 2 days ago. Yeah, and I'm really grateful. Now, aside that, please, with all humility, I do not post or attach bbnaija8 videos to my video because I've had copyright strike before. So the most I might end up doing is adding their screenshots. So if you do not like it, I would advise that you please go to other channels. They might be posting it both on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and all the 9 yards. For here, we just analyze and talk about it of what's happened. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, click on the bell button beside for notification on every post I make. Don't forget to share comments down below and also share this video so that more people can get to see. Now let's get right into it. Now we saw around the third week of the Big Brother Naija All-Star season, we saw how Adekunle and Venita began gravitating towards each other in the likeness of the fact that he seems to like ladies who are older than him, and she seems to like somebody who is matured enough to handle her, and probably even if he's younger than her, it's not a problem. And then we saw how off and on they began to team up. Within the first 2-3 weeks, we saw that they were playing individual games, right? Until they paired up in that ending of second week going into the third week. Now, after that happened, people started feeling like the two of them were losing touch of their game because they were now like shipping. But of course, what is Big Brother without a good ship, right? But it seems like it wasn't the perfect kind of ship that people wanted because, like, not just people, even the both of them involved. We noticed how, Adekunle began to fight in fights that were concerning Venita. Venita started joining in fights that were concerning Adekunle. It is good. It is what couples do, or people who care about each other. It's what friends do. But what it ended up doing is started secluding them, both of them, like an island. Adekunle's game ended up being a game that surrounded Venita. It was all about Venita in the morning, afternoon, and night. It is cool, but you're here for a game. People want to see other aspects of you. We don't want to see the same thing we probably might have seen in the other season, which was you showing your intellectual strength, and then you showed it for a bit. People got turned off, and then you went on to now want a couple when most people are really craving to see the bad boy Dex part of you. Now, things started getting sideways to me. Things started becoming sideways or changing when we started seeing the other part of Adekunle. Now, of course, everybody have their crazy side when they quarrel and stuff, but it was rather reflecting Venita. Let me give an example. When Venita had issues with Pere and a number of the housemates, we saw how crazy she could be and, in quotes, vile. Somebody told me that I learned the word newly. That's why I started using it. But because of these fees that they are paying 300k per week, I gave 10 million before they came to this show. You guys are coming here to drag me. Oh my God, I beg God's a beg. Anyways, so we saw how bitter and crazy those fights could be, and we were disappointed that someone who is of age and someone who has 2 kids would be acting that way, right? And then we saw the time Neil and Pere ganged up against Adekunle. The reaction he had was giving Venita vibes. The little fights that they got themselves into with other housemates, whenever we see Adekunle talking, it was giving Venita vibes. And then, of course, from the core of himself, right? And it was rather disappointing that it was the wrong kind of fight he was getting himself into. And then we started seeing that, of course, he started noticing or probably hearing whispers in the house that he's losing on his game. He wasn't really giving the content, or maybe he had thought to himself that, hey, what's up? I came here for a game and this is what I'm doing. So we saw that about 2 weeks ago. He had a conversation with Venita in the washing room, and he was talking about how he wants to take a little time off and let him rather get to used to each other, know each other better, and see how they build this better, right? That week passed, we saw them still coupling and stuff. Not until yesterday when they actually fought. Now, a lot of us didn't actually see or hear what exactly happened, but we later found out that the both of them had a quarrel. What was this quarrel about? From one thing to another, they started quarreling about how Venita was towards Adekunle and how, also complaining about how he is towards her. Now, according to Adekunle, Venita is rather controlling. She's acting she is the boss lady of the relationship or whatever it is that is going on between them. And he's not that kind of guy that likes that. He doesn't want to feel controlled or caged and stuff like that. Now, this really hurt her. She went on to cry bitterly. That was a cry that, Angel was complaining about or talking about to Somadina yesterday. Now, this Venita actually cried herself to sleep. She didn't go for the party. Adekunle had the time of his life as a free man. In quote, he was really acting as though it was the first time to party in Big Brother's house, dancing and rocking every girl he could lay his hands on. Soon, he didn't go to the pink room. He didn't go to talk to her. He didn't do anything. He went on to the, to the garden after talking with the guys, with Sheyi, Ike, and Neil. He slept on the swing couch in the garden. Like, I really watched this guy till this morning, so it's not something I'm guessing whether he did or not. And that was really crazy and rather disappointing because, indeed, Venita went on to even complain that this was not something he was supposed to be even saying on live TV. It will make her look some type of way. It will spoil her brand and let's just be honest, Venita is so keen on, image, her public image as related to the show, how people perceive or see her. And that thing is getting very tarnished right now because, she feels it doesn't reflect good on her, the way he spoke to her and stuff. And I feel she really ropes people into feeling like the victim. That was the same thing she did with Neil and maybe one or two other housemates. It's not my call to, castigate or, use harsh words on her, but that's just my take. I don't even need to talk about this. We saw how glad Sheyi was after the fight between Adekunle and Venita, seeing her break down in tears and be heartbroken. He was even telling Neil that, she deserves it. It is karma, and, being vile towards other people, getting back at her. It's karma has caught up with her. Now, of course, later this morning, we saw that Ike had to go make breakfast for him and, Venita called her to the dining. He made toast bread and then, was having a conversation with her. First off, he said he really apologized for not checking up on her, seeing that, the party, he didn't see her at the party, but nothing much happened there. And that, he now knew that it was even way more serious when he saw how moody and in tears she was. And the fact that Adekunle actually slept in the garden on the swing. Now, we could see how swollen her eyes were, her nose were looking like they were, running. She was really moody. And then we also saw that Adekunle was in the garden around those places where you can lie down and sleep, and he covered his eyes with, glasses. Did Adekunle cry too? Who knows? But it's crazy. Wow. This is unbelievable. And I want to say that I understand both of them. When Adekunle says, he doesn't, that she's controlling, a lady can have a strong energy. A guy can blend with his. But that strong energy that ends up making him feel demasculated or less of a man or less than himself or not in control to an extent makes a guy run away. And that's the energy I think Venita has been giving him. And then we'll also see that he has also been saying things that she would necessarily not want him to see in public. However, we just want to see how this goes.